Hey everybody, okay, good. I'm going to do a next update here. Thank you. The truth is, I was injured. I didn't injure myself. I'm responsible for what I stated initially in 2004. It's in there. I was injured. It was a maneuver to create a disorder. Very relevant, William Pryor, very much so. Graham Sisson, by refining what I have learned about the way he spoke relative to the way I spoke to him, he knows it all. He knows exactly what was going on with Bill Pryor. The supervisor, Joe Lee, maneuver. Absolutely no substance to it in any manner. There's not a speck of truth to any of it. When I spoke to client assistants, Rachel Hughes, completely corrupt. Neuropsychologist. Likelihood, falsified medical records. Physiological. And I'm sure I look considerably different than what I'm disclosing here for the past 30 years. Jim Carden, God knows what, why he could just go mental illness, totally corrupt. Baseless maneuvers, absolutely not a speck of truth to any of it. He refers you then to Stephen K. Simpson, real powerhouse as far as legal, falsified medical records, not an evaluation, not a speck of truth to that evaluation, none of it over the past 30 years. I asked, please, he would not correct the medical records. Next is Jim Harris III. Jim Harris III is the person I've been in touch with 3 times a year. Human Studies Professor, Pamela J. Mobley. Psychological malpractice. I've been injured. I didn't injure myself. One phone call. Now, it's good. I do not know the exact dates. I do have the files backed up. The original dates, I've got all of it. Okay? The mistake I made was staying down here in 2004 forward. Okay? A completely different incorporated norm. There's absolutely no truth. Maneuvers. Pulling the strings. Climbing up. Jeff Sessions. This is as high up as you can get. It's a feeding farm of special interest. Do you see why I'm saying? Every bit of it's medical, but absolutely none of it is. PhD in vocational psychology. For sure. Now, let's start getting some truth out here. Okay? That human studies professor, nothing. Not in comparison to the background I come from. And I'm going to prove this with their psychological malpractice. I'll prove it. I have lost $200,000. Did I do that? Let me tell you the honest truth. Psychological malpractice. Statute of limitation with Jim Harris III has been reset to February of 2012. I've been injured. I didn't injure myself. I'm human. And I am. I have to learn it to be able to grow. When I finally get the exact reference point, I would say 3 times a year. Civil rights violation. This is going to be an interesting one, I'll tell you that much. What is the difference of the highest level of honesty, integrity in the healthiest context and all success compared to here. Republican political environment. William Pryor, very important. Need to delegate it out. You can say a lot of substance behind that. I had no idea what they concocted there. I just know the result. Is it that serious? You don't know anything about my background. How can you possibly use psychology? You don't think I'm gonna... Look how quickly I archived that. I just took 2004 up to current date. That quick. What I don't know is the other reference points at the moment. But let's just say 3 times a year, Jim Harris III committed psychological malpractice. Absolutely. Those medical records have no resemblance to anything for the past 30 years. Now, I hope each day to keep it current. Looks to me like this one's going to be slipped in 2012, almost head on to that date. That's good. I got 2 years. And I'll guarantee you something. I don't think I'm going to be homeless for very long. And I'm going to pick right back up to what's consistent with 1988, 1986 through 2001. I will guarantee you, no matter how seriously I've been injured, the investment in me couldn't return better. No matter how seriously I've been injured here, what will be the day I end up homeless? Let me say this much. Let me tell you a little bit about Birmingham. The medical corruption, completely out of control. Completely out of control. How do you think I know the difference between the two? I wouldn't. Being corporate is a norm. I'd love to look at those healthcare bills and acts over the decades. I'm not a political scientist. I am, though. No history of anything political. Where I come from, it's graciously accepted. Out here, it's a feeding farm. This is so corrupt. I didn't know anything. I've heard about things like this before. Personally, I'm telling you, whoever those special interests are, particularly in the psychological, predatory, medical field, pushing pharmaceuticals, their ethics, legal ethics, guaranteed. Somebody's going to write a book on this. Get a hold of this. Be very careful with me. Very. The truth will absolutely come out in this one. Let me tell you about the difference at Birmingham. Should have made no difference. One phone call. 2004. I was injured. Completely naive. 100% honesty and all that. Criminals. Criminal. Immunity is waved out the window. Chance of psychological malpractice. Because of my background. Absolutely. If I end up homeless with one single last chance of survival, you're ain't going to be no truth down here. I will guarantee you, with the background that I come from, that I've shared with you, you got it. Look at it. This is not, it might be medical records by the time it's said and done. I guarantee you. Look at age 7 through over 40, especially in Lake Forest. That's going to be materialized again. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. If that is taken away from me by anything medical in any manner, whoever is responsible, I'd like to look at those healthcare acts and bills over the decades, how it got incorporated to be a norm. I do not know anything about that field, nor do I have any desire. Professional management of this country, go back to the early 1900s, all the way through. What is there, tens of thousands of acts and bills? Do you or I know anything about any of it? But it's been incorporated as a norm. Thank you very much. I've been injured. Injured. You bet, Birmingham. Very dangerous. But it's not the people. It's the special interests. And it's the Republican environment, the political environment. Let me share this with you. I've learned all, look at this, remember, Lake Forest, psychiatrists, doctors, dentists, psychologists, it's a higher level of growth and maturity than most people achieve in their lifetime. I have to assume it takes a whole lifetime to validate. I'm an interesting one. Normal. High side. Check me inside out. I'm normal. I have no history of ever deviating from the norm, regardless of how radical, or absolute survival. Absolute survival. By the time this is done, someone's going to write a book. This will not be a typical homeless person. I am not. I never injured myself. I'm the one. We will even out the most powerful. Those are maneuvers. Not a speck of truth to any of it. None. Every bit of it. Psychological malpractice. I'll bet you anything. Birmingham is an environment. The only thing that's known is medical. It's not very intelligent. The only thing that's known, if you relate about something unique, is psychiatrists. Every bit of it. You've heard it from me myself. I've been out here since 2012. I've done everything in my power. And I guarantee you it will be a very successful career consistent with the experience that I have. That I will guarantee you. That will not be taken away from me by a powerful medical special interest in any manner. Ever. If I get let into a system and another 10 years gets blown, and I only have $200,000 this time, I can guarantee you. Guaranteed. I do not know the healthcare laws, but I do have quite a bit of interest to know how this all started. It's abusive, not about growing or health. That's what's been true for over 30 years of my life, and I guarantee you, I want to know everything to achieve the highest level of health. Psychiatrists, a DSM, you never know a basis. The basis is what matters. The basis. whether it's relevant to the situation. None of that. That's the difference in Birmingham. It is not as intelligent. We're all equal. It's the most powerful special interest that could wipe out over 40 years. That's why I would not be down here under any circumstance, under absolute survival. The truth will not occur down here. Not the maneuvers, none of that. Powerful, and I mean the Republicans will bring you down to your knees. I've learned about the whole general environment. I was injured. It's an injury. I did not injure myself. Guaranteed on this one. 2004 forward, I was injured. That psychological malpractice, guarantee ya, whether it occurs or not, those medical records have been falsified. I can prove the psychological. I've just shared it with you here in a rough draft. How much time? There's not much more there. Okay, so you got a pretty good feel here. Let me take a little time off here. I'd like to continue with this experience and teach you. None of it, not one bit of it, is medical. That's all it is in health. And when you really look at creating success, where is it? I haven't found any of it. Injured. Predatory medical corruption. I can't believe. Yes. Yes. How much? Look at me. I'm going to prove this. Maybe guarantee the truth is coming out on this one. Unless I lose something that throws me into homelessness within a week, you're going to see me share everything. You're going to get to know me. Guarantee you. Falsified medical records. Psychological. Medical malpractice. How high profile? I'll guarantee you the truth under any circumstance. You won't have to see me see anyone. You're going to have it all. You're going to understand every single bit of the basis about me by the time it's said and done. This area of Birmingham is so corrupt. There's absolutely no truth to any of it. You might have experts. Corrupt every single bit of it, and I didn't know it. I've personally experienced it. Now, when you look at the whole environment, I can only speculate, but I can share what I've learned for sure. I'll guarantee you, those ethics departments, the ethics, the legal ethics, I'm right up there to take them on. I'm right up there. All we need to do is get that match established. I'm ready to take on the most powerful predatory compliance, ethics, legal, and EQ. Guaranteed. It is the worst business practices. Predatory, incorporated as a norm. I promise you, I'm telling the truth. The only reason I can discern that incorporated norm is I know the difference between the two. One is for over 40 years, and by the time it's said and done, I will be homeless, injured. Let me share this further. I'm highly developed, and I'm very fortunate to. I've done it once, and I'm going to do it again. I'm doing it right now. I understand it's going to be an individual counselor by the time it's said and done, if I'm not so disgusted. But what I've learned here, predatory, not even seeking individual counseling at this point. I have mine. I've known the guy for 25, 30 years. He's going to be very interested, I'm sure. And I share this one. Will he ever want to get involved? Well, I highly respect him. He doesn't want to get involved unless your freedom could be taken away from you. Injured. You wouldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole with the background I come from. You're not very smart out here. I agree. We're equal. It's how that energy is being directed. I'm building on curiosity. I'm learning it all. Go out there. Go out there. You're not my parents. Okay? Go out there. If we instill the belief on you, you'll never learn it. You'll simply accept it. So go out there and personally experience it and come back to us. And that is what I'm going to do with all of you. I don't know if I can go much deeper. I don't think there's anything more to it. It's come out freely, completely. Normal. The best of upbringing. I come from a very good childhood. Couldn't ask for better. What I have to imitate from, and I probably do, built on curiosity. I have to admit I am prone to assuming. Everybody is. How long do you think it takes to really validate it? Lifetime. Thank you very much. I'm ready to share more about what I have learned building on curiosity, and I'm going to come back to you about a completely different incorporated norm that I've ever experienced in over 40 years. Thank you. Thank you for learning about me. I hope you're getting a lot out of this. See, this pattern's been lifelong, normal, interesting, always been. I want to give it away so you can create success too. At the highest level, I guarantee you that successful career is going to happen. That's taken away from me. Maybe taken away by a little bit different experience here where $200,000 got wiped out. Pick up the pieces. That curiosity, growth, maturity is indefinite. If anything, guarantee you, no matter how severely I've been injured, the investment in me, in the proper context, they're right back out there. Very, very fortunate. I might lose everything. Not for long. Injured. Not medical. No way. And I'm going to prove it here. Psychological malpractice, Jim Harris III. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you something. The only reason I can do this is I have over 30 years. And I am fully aware of my makeup. In the past, I would have known that it's a corrupt government agency. Unfortunately, in this case, I really believe the law of the intended purpose is vitally important to get that PhD vocational psychology. You know why. That's the reason I'm going to have a successful career again. Creating success, you bet, at the highest level where they want to give it back to me to create that success. I guarantee you, if that's taken away from me, no matter how I gained the experience. Very valuable. And it should have been the same way out here. A bunch of criminals, falsifying medical records, outright negligence, the most serious form of civil rights violations. Thoroughly corrupted the civil rights. Every bit of it. I'll bet you, and I'm a very trusting person because I never experienced this before. And you got it all throughout all of what I've shared. I'm ready to get started and get up to what's going to be tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to achieve that today. It looks like this one will be filed under, I'm going to, the retrieval of the substance with, sure, it's different date ranges. I'm going earlier or later. I'm trying to keep it chronological, though. I'm trying to get up to present day, for tomorrow, right off the bat, maybe even to the hour, by the time it's said and done. You don't have to be that detailed, but I want to cover every single bit of this. If I end up homeless and have to do one of the most radical self-survival, it will not be medical. The basis will be right out in the open. I guarantee ya, none of this is medical. Not one bit of it. It stays only career. And if that's been taken away from me by the most powerful predatory medical special interest or the Republicans, watch out. That may already legal. Psychological malpractice. Sure can be proven. Background I come from, I don't know anything about immunity, but I understand that's waived, gone. To increase performance, falsifying medical records, I can prove it's psychological. I can absolutely prove it. That human studies professor, no match. With the background I come from, you'd be out of your mind to do something like that. Thank you. Thank you for getting to know me. Thank you. I'm Rich. I grew up in Deerfield, Illinois. That's all I know. Honesty, integrity, the healthiest context, and creating success. And I sure got my helping hand from the United Way, all right. Even that's corrupt. Every single bit of it. And none of that should have happened. It's outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Never experienced anything like that. You got some EQ to look at. Big time. The worst. Every single bit of it. Business practices, a feeding farm of a bunch of predatory special interests. Completely it is an incorporated norm. Now I'm going to share most likely something that I had never wanted to know anything about. And obviously I have. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to be okay. I know I am. Regardless of what happens. I'm not your typical homeless person, believe me. Anything medical, I'll guarantee ya, it's just waiting to happen. That has been taken away from me for a bit of time here. It's going to be psychological malpractice, though, for sure. If I'll need the legal assistance on this one. How high profile? About as high profile as it gets. Is it worth me investing the time? I'm very forgiving. Thank you very much for getting to know me better. I think you're getting to know me pretty well now. I'm learning. It's indefinite. That's what I'm used to. Learning, growing, experiencing each